Welcome back to the home gym. Recently, a young man named Sean Milliken, a star from My 600-Pound Life, passed away from complications due to an infection.
My name is Rondell. As you can see, I can set myself up properly to do some blindside backing, but I'd lost my battle with fitness. Through time and time again, I went the wrong way. I've learned to set myself up and sometimes take another course. At this point in time in my life, I have made that adjustment. I have found the path that is working best for me. Now travel down the highway with me and see what exits I take and see if they help you. I hope my journey down the great highway of fitness helps you through your journey. Please like, share, and comment below after you subscribe.
I recently have been watching a lot of My 600-Pound Life. I'm going to agree with Every Damn Day Fitness. That should be on every channel. I feel very sympathetic for this young man and his family. In fact, I learned something in My 600-Pound Life is Dr. Now had been talking to somebody who had an infection, and there was nothing they could do. They'd throw on the antibiotics, but there was just no blood flow. And I hadn't thought about that. But it leads me to think there's a whole lot more complications to morbidly obesity than just being morbidly obese. So this is sad, and obesity is a huge problem, and it's becoming an epidemic in our country, and the costs are astronomical. And the cost that's the most astronomical is it costs lives. People are dying. So the more we can do, and the more we can share, and the more we can talk about health, the better. Because we need to end this cycle. Things start to get complicated in medicine the heavier you get. If you were down here out in the woods like we are, you may not get an ambulance. It's big enough if you were too big. The flight helicopters, have limits. These hospitals are getting bigger equipment, but, it costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, which is a cost on the system. And I don't mean to keep bringing up cost as to grade or demean obese or morbidly obese people, but the reality is the more people there are like that, the more things they have to put in place in these hospitals, and it all costs money. Lots and lots of money. And our system is getting broken by this. One of the things our system is getting broken by is the fact that we don't practice preventative medicine as much as we should. We practice, here's some pills, throw pills at people, and some more pills, and some more pills, and some pills to take care of the side effects of the pills and pills. We have, in my industry, in trucking, so many people every other year, we, go piss and see if there's sugar in your blood, and, sugar in your piss. And that's how so many of the guys find out they're diabetic. We're not having a discussion about, you can kind of look in the mirror and say, hey, I've got extra belly here, and things are sagging in places, and they shouldn't. Maybe I have a diabetes problem, but at the same point in time, we're not, as a society in whole, we're not having the conversation very well. The doctors are certainly not doing their best part to talk, and it's funny, talk about weight, and it's funny that I mentioned this. So I had a doctor when we lived in Portland, and I had laughed at Patrick. I said, oh, it's so strange. He was just fresh out of med school because I was going to a clinic where they were residents. And I said, you can tell he's new because he's all excited. And he wants to talk about my weight, me losing weight. I said, it's so strange to come across a doctor that's willing to talk about weight because all the other old cranky doctors, they've given up hope. And sadly enough, that happens a lot. They've given up hope, and they've also given up keeping up with the times. If you're not getting an A1C when you go to the doctor and you're even a little bit overweight, then your doctor's failing you. He goes, well, I'm going to check your blood sugar. Well, that's great. That's one moment in time. well, fasting, your blood sugar is fine, then you need an A1C. That means he's a little behind. And if he's talking, want to go see, Lies My Doctor Told You by Dr. Barry. Dr. Ken Berry, he's got a channel on here. He talks about a lot of this stuff. He's more qualified than me to talk about doctors and their failings. But I'm just saying we do have a failing system where we don't practice preventative medicine. We practice chaos of, oh, wow, you're sick now. Yeah, we probably could have told you were sick 10 years ago, but we waited till you needed a whole bunch of expensive drugs. So you have to pay. The insurance companies has to pay. Our Medicare, Medicaid has to pay. I mean, the rest of our rates go up, and so we have to pay. It's not preventive care. It's the worst kind of care. And how many diabetics for years would, wait until they were practically on death's door to go to the emergency room to get some insulin? That's really freaking expensive when it could have been easily solved by preventative medicine. Preventative medicine 20 years ago for that diabetic might have prevented him becoming a diabetic. Well, except for the ADA, American Diabetes Association, decided high carbs is good for diabetic idiots. Or, we couldn't have prevented it then. Okay, well, that's great. Why didn't we make it possible for that person to go see a doctor in order to not go to the emergency room? Oh, that's right, because we decided that, healthcare needs to be outrageously expensive and hard for people to get. Great. Now they're going to the emergency room costing us a frick ton more money. We could have prevented it years ago. We could have talked in schools about, nutrition. Spend a few dollars, preventing having kids understand nutrition, and how to balance a checkbook would have been nice too, please. Thank you very much. God. But why spend $5 then? Why spend $10 talking, seeing them right as they first started gaining weight? Why spend $15, getting them, into the, let's spend $5,000 in the freaking emergency room. It's getting ridiculous. Now, has this have anything to do with Sean Milliken? No, he was 29 years old, and he was definitely morbidly obese long before then. The point is, as a society, we have failed in the whole treatment of nutrition, because his parents helped him get there, and I'm sure their parents did too. And I'm sure we have failed on this front for a couple generations, which is why we are where we are now. We failed on this front when we decided fat was bad and sugar was okay. That's when we started to fail. We failed on this front when we decided that we were more concerned with, how much you paid versus just getting you good health care. We failed on this front when we decided it was your choice to become morbidly obese and we weren't going to talk to you about it. It's still your choice to become morbidly obese. I'm not going to completely argue with that. I think it's a huge mistake and it's something you should never do. We should have talked to you about it. We as a society shouldn't be afraid to say, hey, that is unhealthy. And hey, that will lead to an early death. And will help you with the tools to get you healthy. But we didn't. God, no one talked to me. I had to figure all this stuff out for myself. I had to come on YouTube and watch this. Why? Why did I have to wait for social media to come around to understand nutrition? Pretty sad, if you ask me. I spent the first 30 some odd years of my life not really understanding nutrition. Now, 40-ish, and I'm just now figuring it out. And all the different diets and all the different attempts I made, and the only people who ever explained anything to me were people who are trying to sell me something. That's the information I get. What's the information I got out of my government? Eat a full frick load of grain. That'll be good for you. Yeah. Oh, and there was a wheel, and there was a triangle, and now there's a plate that tells me what? It doesn't really talk about nutrition. It really doesn't. I don't trust my government, but I should trust my doctor. What did my doctor get? You know, I've heard these doctors talk about this little bitty amount they got about nutrition. I started to find out after social media and after YouTube that nutrition happens to be one of the most important things in our lives. Happens to turn out that you are what you eat. And if you eat 800 pounds of pizza, you're going to be an 800-pound person. It's just now, thankfully, you're here on YouTube watching me helping yourself. There's lots of channels who explain a lot better things to you. I'm just walking through this life trying to find my way. And I hope you find your way, and I hope it's to a better you. Be safe.